They told us it was over. In 2006, the scientific community made a decision that felt like a betrayal to an entire generation. They told us Pluto was just a rock, a mistake, a cold, dead leftover from the formation of the solar system that didn't deserve the title of planet. We were told to rewrite the textbooks and move on, but they were wrong. Not about the classification, but about the nature of the world itself. Because while we were arguing over definitions here on Earth, a robot the size of a piano was screaming across the void at 36,000 miles per hour to prove us all foolish. What it found out there, 3 billion miles away, wasn't a dead rock. It was a world more active, more colorful, and more terrifyingly alive than Mars or even Earth in some respects. Pluto isn't just a former planet, it is the king of the Kuiper Belt, and its story is far stranger than we ever imagined. Before we leave the solar system, look down. If that subscribe button is still red, click it right now. We explore the universe's darkest secrets every day, and you don't want the algorithm to hide the next discovery from you. To understand the magnitude of this discovery, we have to look back at why we found it in the first place. In 1930, a young astronomer named Clyde Tombaugh was tasked with an impossible job: find Planet X, a hypothetical object suspected of messing with Neptune's orbit. After 10 grueling months of scanning the dark, he found a pinprick of light moving against the stars. It was bright. It appeared to be alone. And because it was the only thing out there, we projected our own assumptions onto it. We assumed it was massive. We assumed it was solid rock. We assumed it was the 9th sibling in our solar family. For 76 years, Pluto held that title, but technology improved. We started seeing deeper into the dark, and we realized that Pluto wasn't a lonely outpost. It was just the first face in a crowd. This is where the controversy began. By the early 2000s, astronomers started finding other objects in the same neighborhood, some of them nearly as big as Pluto. This region, now known as the Kuiper Belt, is essentially the solar system's junkyard, a massive ring of icy debris that never formed into a planet. The International Astronomical Union had a choice. Either we have hundreds of planets, or we tighten the rules. In 2006, they chose the latter. They refined the definition of a planet with a new, ruthless criterion. A planet must clear its orbit. It has to be the gravitational boss of its neighborhood, consuming or ejecting any debris in its path. Pluto fails this test. It doesn't rule the Kuiper Belt. It lives within it. It is merely one object among thousands, drifting through a sea of ice and rock. And just like that, the 9th planet was gone. But ironically, losing its title was the best thing that could have happened to Pluto because it forced us to look at it not as a failed planet, but as the dominant object of a completely new frontier. Even as the ink was drying on the paper that demoted Pluto, a probe called New Horizons was already on the launch pad. Launched in January 2006, this mission was a race against time. Pluto has a bizarre elliptical orbit that takes it far from the sun, and the atmosphere was threatening to freeze and collapse onto the surface before we could get there. NASA strapped the probe to the fastest rocket available. It crossed the moon's orbit in just 9 hours, a trip that took the Apollo astronauts 3 days. But the real trick was a gravity assist from Jupiter. New Horizons stole momentum from the giant planet, slinging itself into the outer dark at speeds that would melt a normal spacecraft. For 9 years, it slept, silently traversing the empty billions of miles. When it finally woke up in 2015, it was our first, and likely last, chance to see this world up close. The risk was enormous. This wasn't an orbiter that could hang around for years. It was a flyby. We had one shot, moving at bullet speeds, to capture the secrets of a world we had been guessing about for a century. As the probe closed in, the first thing it revealed was that Pluto is not dancing alone. We knew about its moon, Charon, but New Horizons showed us that their relationship is unique in the solar system. Charon is huge, about half the size of Pluto itself. Because of this massive size ratio, Charon doesn't actually orbit Pluto. Instead, the two bodies orbit a shared center of gravity, a point in empty space between them. It's a binary system, a double world waltzing through the dark. They are also tidally locked in a way that is unsettling to think about. If you stood on one side of Pluto, Charon would hang motionless in the sky, a permanent, unblinking eye, never rising and never setting. If you stood on the other side, you would never know the moon existed. This gravitational marriage is the key to understanding the violence we would soon find on the surface. When the high-definition images finally arrived, scientists were stunned. They expected a cratered, dead surface like our moon. Instead, they saw a vibrant, high-contrast world of deep reds, bright whites, and charcoal blacks. Dominating the hemisphere is the now famous heart of Pluto, a region formerly named Sputnik Planitia. This isn't just a cute shape, it is a geological engine. The left lobe of this heart is a massive plain of nitrogen ice, not water ice, but frozen nitrogen. This region is suspiciously smooth. There are no impact craters here, which in astronomy means the surface is young. It is being constantly resurfaced. We realize that this nitrogen ice is flowing. Even at temperatures of minus 240 degrees Celsius, this ice behaves like a slow-moving liquid, forming glaciers that flow down from the mountains, erasing craters and reshaping the world in real time. It is a beating heart, circulating material across the planet. Zooming in, closer to the heart, New Horizons spotted something even stranger, a pattern of giant polygons almost like the cells of a honeycomb stretching across the ice. These are convection cells. Heat from deep inside Pluto is warming the nitrogen ice, causing it to rise, cool, and sink back down, exactly like a lava lamp. This motion creates a thin, hazy atmosphere. Through a process called sublimation, the solid ice turns directly into gas, rising up to create a tenuous blue sky that New Horizons captured in a breathtaking silhouette as it looked back toward the sun. But this atmosphere is dying. As Pluto continues its long, elliptical orbit away from the sun, this gas will eventually freeze and fall back to the surface as snow, leaving the world in a vacuum until its next summer, centuries from now. Not everything on Pluto is white ice. There are massive, dark red stains across the equator, most notably the Cthulhu macula. This isn't rock, it's likely organic. These red regions are created by tholins. When the weak sunlight hits the methane and nitrogen in Pluto's atmosphere, it breaks the molecules apart. They recombine into heavy, complex, organic compounds that rain down out of the sky like a fine, dark soot. It accumulates over millions of years, painting the older regions of the planet in deep crimson. It's a chemical factory running on the edge of the solar system, creating the basic building blocks of life in a place that should be dead. But the biggest shock, on the one that really keeps scientists up at night, is Right Mons. This is a mountain with a deep depression in the center. It looks like a volcano, and that's because it is one, but it doesn't spew lava, it spews ice. The discovery of cryovolcanoes implies that Pluto has a hot core. It has enough internal energy to melt water and ammonia and push it to the surface. This suggests that beneath that frozen crust, Pluto might harbor a subsurface ocean of liquid water. How is this possible? Rock this small, this far from the sun, should have cooled off billions of years ago. Where is the heat coming from? The leading theory brings us back to Charon. We believe that billions of years ago, a massive object slammed into the young Pluto. It was a cataclysmic impact that didn't just create the moon, but nearly destroyed both worlds. The energy from that collision, combined with the constant tidal stretching as the two bodies settled into their unique dual orbit, may have kept the interior warm far longer than it had any right to be. The heart of Pluto, that massive nitrogen glacier, is actually located directly opposite Charon. This alignment suggests the weight of the ice caused the entire planet to tip over, reorienting itself to balance the gravitational pull of its moon. Pluto is not a dead rock. It is a world of flowing glaciers, red organic snow, blue skies, and volcanoes that erupt ice. It is a dynamic, evolving system that challenges everything we thought we knew. About the outer solar system. New Horizons has long since passed Pluto. It is currently sailing deeper into the Kuiper Belt, searching for the next target, hunting for ancient remnants of the solar system's dawn. The probe will eventually run out of power and drift silently into interstellar space, carrying the memory of the dwarf planet that surprised us all. We went looking for the 9th planet, and we found something much better. We found proof that the universe is far more creative than we are. There are billions of miles left to explore and mysteries we haven't even begun to suspect. If you want to join us as we uncover the secrets of the cosmos, one video at a time, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching.